Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 690. This is the Indy Report. I hope you guys are having an outstanding week so far. It's halfway through the week, which is a beautiful thing to see. Right now, I'm going to be solo for a little while. I think Brandon King will be coming in shortly. And we're going to have some discussion points about some news that happened today that I want his perspective on, particularly in a conference that Tennessee State is currently in. But we'll have that discussion when he arrives. But in the meantime, we're going to go over some news stories and then a story or two. And then we're going to get into the skinny of the top 21 that Dr. Cavil came out. I got my perspective on that entire list. So I will go over that possibly right after the break. But welcome to episode 690 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU's athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, along with my co-hosts who are currently on assignment, Brandon King, Tariq Wilson, and Jeffrey Johnson. We are filming live from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. What's going on, Chuck Hunt? Shout out to you, sir. Shout out to my guy, Adam. I hope all is well with both of you, gentlemen. The big thing that I want to discuss, the big news that kind of, was fascinating that happened last week since the last Indy report was about the fact that the marquee matchup of the MEAC for this upcoming football season got moved to Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, which in essence is the lead-in for an ACC game. I have a lot of thoughts about it. I have my opinions on it, but for those who don't know, the school down the road in South Carolina State, they're going to be playing on November 14th, Friday, November 14th, at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One day originally they were originally scheduled to do. But the one positive piece is that the game is going to be televised on ESPN proper, not ESPN2, U, Plus, derivatives, just regular smegular ESPN. Which I think that is a positive side of the fence. But I just think the time slot that they got, rush hour on a Friday afternoon is a tough spot, considering that is considered the marquee game. I think a lot of folks are anticipating that this game could potentially be for the MEAC. Now, I don't necessarily agree, but that's what the predictors are currently saying. They're saying that this is the game that's going to pretty much decide the MEAC. With that being said, I just feel like I understand exposure, but I don't know if this is going to draw like we want it to. And I'm also thinking about the fan bases, even though I'm not a fan of either one of these institutions because they're both my rivalry school, me being an Aggie. But I still think it's important to make sure the fans be able to get to the games. And Friday at 5 o'clock is very difficult. Thursday nights were tough too, but that could be potentially more manageable because then you can just take the whole weekend. But Friday at 5 o'clock is a difficult sell in Durham at that. With the traffic and all that to get to a game at 5 o'clock, you have to probably get there by 2:30, 3 o'clock, realistically. But overall, what's going on, Lennon? How you doing, my man? I just think we really need to figure out if there's any type of solutions to try to fight to get better time slots for some of our marquee games. I understand why ESPN would love to move this game and have it, and with them canceling some of their shows, that could be a factor in it as well, to fill time slots. But it's kind of it's bittersweet. We always say we want to be on ESPN, but I don't know at this capacity at 5 o'clock. But it should be fascinating to see how this goes. And what the ratings, I'm fascinated to see how the ratings are going to be, if the fans are going to be able to make it over there. I know folks from Orangeburg would travel to this type of game, but you know, look, man, it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. It is a very tough spot. Friday is typically set aside for high school, but they do play college ball on Friday too. I mean, like I said, it's a lead into an ACC game. Um, so we shall see how this goes. But this game is a big game, and I don't think marquee games should be on these type of time slots. I kind of wish it should have stayed. It should have stayed on Friday, but I don't make the calls with regards to that. I wish we'll start signing contracts with ESPN and go. Well, I don't. I think I don't know, man. It's tough, right? Like I think you gotta know your worth, and then you make the decision on what's best for those particular institutions. And some people believe that ESPN is the route, because it's pretty much it's the worldwide leader in sports, right? So I think a lot of folks want to be on ESPN. I mean, as somebody whose institutions the majority of their games on Flow Sports, a lot of folks don't like the fact that it's on Flow Sports because it's another bill. It costs it's $100 a year, but I don't think ESPN is going to get cheaper either. I mean, it's cheap for if you have ESPN Plus, it's cheap now. Like for me, ESPN Plus is free, but it all depends on how you look at it. I mean, I think there's a lot of factors when it comes to the contracts with regards to that. The MEAC is in a completely different and I'm hoping and I want to make sure that folks don't compare the MEAC to the SWAC, because the MEAC has a different type of contract structure than what the SWAC has with ESPN. Like the SWAC has primary and secondary contracts. The MEAC does not, right? So like there's a lot of different deltas when you start thinking from that perspective as well. So I mean, we could talk about what each school gets and all that, and who gets what per team and everything, but that's a whole different scenario. I don't have the contracts. I don't have the contracts in front of me, so I'm not really gonna just like bring that out right here. But yeah, I mean, the MEAC does have some challenges with regards to right now they only have 6 football player members, 8 total teams, and I think that's a challenge too when it comes to like getting fulfilling the number of games that they're supposed to have. I don't know why the Beholders, Hampton, and Virginia State homecomings the same weekend. I have no idea why that was planned. I know there were times where A&T's and the school down the Rhodes was the same weekend, and some people actually prefer that, but because it kind of separates, it kind of splits the fan bases, and I know the school down the road would prefer to have a smaller homecoming, so less people will go to theirs if they're going to ours. But I mean the MEAC, and we're going to talk about some realignment that happened a day later in the show, but I'm trying to wait until Brandon King gets here for that. But yeah, the MEAC, they've been sitting at 18 since 2021, since post pandemic, and 6. So I think I have an inkling that it's probably going to be that way for a while, with all the realignment that's going on. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that how that goes long term. I can discuss what's going on with my homecoming, but the other thing I wanted to bring up briefly before I go to take the first commercial break is there was talks about Mississippi Valley and FAMU and whether or not the game was going to be in Atlanta. But it appears that it is going to stay in Atlanta. I think it's just more of a matter of when they're going to announce the ticket sale and stuff. Oh, Mr. King is here. So after the break, we're going to talk about conference realignment, and then we're also going to try to discuss the top 21 of that Dr. Cavil had, and we'll discuss that with Brandon King. So Brandon King will be here after the break. So I wanted to try to get his perspective on the conference realignment, the breaking news that happened earlier today. So we'll be right back right after this commercial break.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the fun-filled Coca-Cola fan experience, including band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 690, and I have a co-host with me at the basketball court again. What's going on, Mr. King? How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad you showed up today because we have a discussion, man. I know you heard about the breaking news, didn't you?
So I've been actually out of sorts today. So I've been at work all day, so I am catching up on everything. So you'll have to bring me up to speed on a couple things. But I know there's some conference realignment going on.
There is some conference realignment. That's why I want to talk to you, sir. There is some conference realignment going on. So I guess Tennessee Tech has announced that they are leaving the OVC and heading to the Southern Conference, the SoCon, starting in July 1st, 2026. So that would now reduce the number of teams that plays football in the Big South OVC down to 8. So the first question, I want to get your perspective on it. What are your thoughts on it?
I can't really say that I'm surprised. And honestly, the Ohio Valley Conference, even before they formed the association with the football association with the Big South, they've been hemorrhaging teams for several seasons. I mean, we've seen teams, such as, Belmont, Jacksonville State, for instance, that have come into the conference and since left. Among the host of other teams, and I said this on Dr. Cavill's show. Conferences that are in good standing, you don't need to merge with others if your conference is so healthy. The fact that they even had to do that tells me all I need to know. Now, how that relates to us, because when all the other conferences was leaving a few, it's not conferences, but teams were leaving a few years ago, I thought we might be the last one holding the bag, and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
But and that comes from certain personages in athletic administration. They're in love with the idea of being uh, in conferences of a certain persuasion. I'll say it like that.
Mm.
um, so, I mean, I'm not really surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's other teams that are already looking at changing the landscape of their sports program as well.
I have a trivia question for you. How many Big South teams have football programs?
Let me see. Lindenwood, Charleston
Lindenwood was not
Southern.
the Lindenwood is
Oh
not the
no,
Big
no,
South.
no, 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 they're
Okay,
not.
all right.
So you got what? Charleston Southern. You've got hell. I mean, heck. Sorry,
You fine. It's okay.
it's not that many. Now that I'm sitting here really trying to think about it,
It's two.
you you caught me. Let's see.
It's two.
It's
It's
Let
two.
me see if I can name 'em. Let's see if I can name 'em.
Okay. It's only two.
Charleston Southern
Yep. That's one.
and wait, no, Western Illinois is OVC.
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to think. Now I got to think of who the other one is.
Gardner Webb.
Cardinal Webb.
So there's only two. So when they made the association, that wasn't for the OVC. That was for the Big South. So and that was just more, and that for the OVC's perspective, I'm assuming, it's to create that cushion,
Yeah.
just in case. Because the Big South, you want to talk about somebody that was hemorrhaging football teams, that's what they were doing. But they're down to two: Gardner Webb and Charleston Southern. And if my gut says that, I think those two might be the next ones plucked.
So
Because, you know,
so let me ask this because y'all drank a cup of coffee in the Big South.
I did.
Uh,
We did.
so did
We
y'all
only
see the? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we were only in the Big South for 1 year with all our schools, with all our teams, and 2 years for football. That was it. We weren't in the Big South that long, guys. I think folks forget about that. We did not stay in that conference that long at all. And I think it was just more of a matter of the invite that we got. I think if we got the CAA invite, when we did the study back in 2014, 2015 time frame, they said the CAA is like the next spot, but it didn't make any sense at the time with the way the CAA was constructed at the time.
And I said, "Ah, man, we just missed each other."
Mm-hmm.
But that would have made it
Well,
interesting.
don't
So
worry.
let
Now
me.
you got an extra slot to add another HBCU. You can make it a yearly thing, man. You can like you got to get 12 games going. You might as well add another HBCU to the mix. You have 4 HBCUs at that point.
And I don't have a problem with that. The fans don't have a problem with that. Again, this goes back to athletic administration and what they want to do.
You know who can override that though, right? Your new president,
He could.
Dr. Tucker. He could decide. You know what? We're gonna make a move. The MEAC would love to have you.
I know they would. The SWAC would as well.
Yeah.
The people would love it.
Mm-hmm. The MEAC would love to have you.
They they could definitely use it.
Well, y'all do too. Truth be told, the
Yeah,
Carls UN could use whatever they can get at this point.
that's true. I mean, I'm wondering though, if with the financial issues that TSU is having in this scenario, if you're moving to the MEAC, that might be considering you haven't when your money's a little funny. Are you looking at going to a conference that you have to make a trip to Dover, Delaware? That's quite a ways from Nashville,
It is.
and not just for football, but for other sports. So while it makes sense in a lot of ways, I'm wondering from a timing standpoint, in this perfect scenario, well, not so perfect because we ain't got money, but could that play a factor in, a potential move? Because the thing about it has always that they've always said one of the reasons that we stay in the OVC is because all of our opponents are within a drivable range, 2 hours here, 2 hours there. And slowly but sure, that's not necessarily the case as much anymore.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering, could that be wow, sorry. Wow, that was bad. I wonder could that potentially play a role in a potential move when you have to look at, travel and some of those other things, which would be I guess more or less a built-in advantage from a geographical standpoint for the Southwestern Athletic Conference if you make a move.
Yeah, I mean the cost, like the first move to the Big South was about cutting costs because at that point we were pretty much outside of football. Most of the schools was less than 2 hours away. Like like High Point was up the street.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Campbell wasn't that far either. So I get the cost aspect and the optics of it all. Hence why you guys likely made the decision to opt out of the settlement.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you take all those things to account, that is a valid point with regards to that. But I know like somebody posted on Twitter asking about, well, it's time for everybody to come home, and I'm thinking to myself, and I said we might have to change the landlord if you want us to come home. And Jeff asked an interesting question. I wonder what the study will say now about the CAA. I'm going to tell you something about um one thing that I've noticed as somebody that lives in New England. Like I've been able to catch some of the games on television up here, like on
Hmm.
linear television, because of the teams that we play. Like we play Northeastern. They have a TV. They have a linear television deal. I can catch them when they play A&T in Boston. I can catch them on television in basketball. Or when we play Drexel, they have a linear television deal. Drexel has more games in the Philadelphia area that goes on television than Temple.
Wow.
Like for basketball, those are the type of things that we couldn't get in the MEAC based on the contractual obligations that were going on. And I think, and that's a factor too, where there's more kids that know about the school that's up in this region. Like I keep explaining to folks, like the CAA has New York, Philadelphia, Boston. Like they have three major media markets within that conference. And I know they want to try to get the DMV. I mean, they got Baltimore with Townsend. So they got a lot of different major cities in the Northeast. And that's helped with A&T with recruiting.
I was just gonna raise that
It
point. That's got
it
to,
helps them with recruiting.
yeah.
And so there's kids like one of our best track stars that we had on the ladies side is from Boston. like, so it helps. It I know folks don't want to have that discussion point, but it helps. It
It
helps to
does.
reach. It helps to
It,
reach.
it, it absolutely does. Like I said, from you can and you just touched on. You can sit in the living room with a kid from Boston or New York or some of these other areas that you may not have had access to. You now got a foothold in that area, and tell them, hey, if you're from a basketball perspective, your game will be on TV. If mom and them can't make it, they can tune in and watch you, and that's big.
Hmm. Coach Ross was able to recruit somebody that convinced somebody to go to A&T over Syracuse and Louisville. Man, like I'm just,
Hey,
I'm just saying. Like I understand. I get it. I just think that there's reasons why A&T made the decision when they made the decision at the time, and some of those reasons haven't changed yet.
yeah,
Well, I can't speak on y'all. You already pretty much said why you guys are where y'all at right now from regards to the OVC, but
yeah.
but
I
that
think.
that things can shift, man. I mean, you guys trying to get hockey going. Like things can shift though. Things can shift.
Hopefully next year. Hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, then we'll have hockey. So, is there any scenario where
Oh, come home. You said come home, right? Because your voice you went in and out. I don't know what you did, but you still there? Your voice disappeared. What did you do, man? You broke your stuff. Can you hear me? No, he can't hear me. Okay. I think he asked a scenario about what it would take for us to come home. Oh, you're back. All right. So you asked what it would take for us to come home.
yeah,
I think leadership change in the conference. I think that's the first step. I mean, we still play a sport in A&T, so I we're gonna be probably be playing bowling until they don't have enough teams to play bowling. So and we'll continue to have a top 25 bowling team for them to brag about if they want to brag about it.
no, I don't. I mean, I think as easy as it is to say, you know, to come home and some of the points that you raised, I think, if the conferences want some of these schools to come back, then like I said, they've got to perhaps look at how they're conducting business in terms of media rights deals and things of that nature, and how your footprint affects not only you as a conference, but then those individual member institutions, to where, like you pointed out with the CAA, y'all are in households in areas that normally, might not get a chance to see you or get familiar with you all, and that does help from a recruiting standpoint, and that cannot be understated. So,
And the other, and I want to go ahead and clear this up. Jeff, my man, this is not accurate. A&T can accept engineering students from anywhere, including the state of North Carolina. We do keep getting fined by the state, but part of the reason why we're getting fined by the state is because we've hit our out of state cap. We went over out of state cap for consecutive years. The recent deduction that we had in funding was due to the fact that we didn't have enough in-state credit hours intact. So they changed the formula of how they handle enrollment, and we didn't have enough in-state credit hours, so they decided to reduce our spending by almost $1 million, reduce our finance by $1 million. It's like they moved the needle. The UNC system moves the needle to try to hurt the HBCUs with regards to that. Winston-Salem State took a hit too. So like that's what they do when it comes to that. But from an engineering standpoint, A&T can bring in as many engineering students that can get into the institution as they want, regardless of what state they are, because there's no out-of-state cap for engineering students. But the rest of the majors do have a out-of-state cap. They do have a cap with regards to how many out-of-state kids they can take for the non-engineering majors. 35% is the percentage, but now there's other UNC. So I'm now getting my UNC system back. There's other institutions now that have that high of a cap as well. I believe Elizabeth State is around 50%, but there's other more of the PWIs within the UNC system also has a 35% cap because they're trying to figure out a way to make sure their enrollment stays increased. A&T has been the most consistent institution when it comes to increased enrollment for the UNC system over the past 15 years. I did read the comment again. He said we can only accept engineering students outside of North Carolina. That sounds like you can't accept none in the state. I read the comment. So but the bottom line is we do have a 35% cap. I mean, and it's one of the higher ones, but I think the highest is 50% that Elizabeth State has. But nah, man, I think with regards to like conference realignment, I think there's going to be more of it. I think there's reports there's going to be more. So I have a feeling that your OVC conference might be taking another hit, and I'm hearing rumbles that it might be the CAA as well.
I fully expect it. I've been anticipating more defection for a while.
Now, I just think it's fascinating to watch it unfold. I think some folks thought it might slow down with the settlement, and I was like, no way, no how, man. This thing's gonna keep rocking.
Yeah, because they're looking at with what's going on now. Now you got to look at the bottom line more than ever. So if it looks like I mean, from a fiscal standpoint, it might be better for a school to be in this league. They're going to take a hard look at it. Those studies are going to get done, and I see more schools moving around. 'Cause as we know, it's never just one. When one school moves, there's a trickle down effect. So other schools, you should be looking to replace that school or whatever. So
We
this tech thing, this is just the opening salvo for more moves, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the CAA has been replacing schools, but they've been replacing schools that ain't like we lost Delaware and Villanova for football, and we brought in Sacred Heart. Like, it's not you're not getting a 1-for-1 when you make those type of moves. But I think the big thing that I'm like concerned about with the CAA is the fact that it's getting very northeast saturated on the football side of the fence, and just on the football side of the fence. I think it's still pretty even. It's pretty even everywhere else because a lot of the schools, half of the full-time members don't play football, right? So,
Hmm.
but on the football side of the fence, it's getting very northeast heavy, and I think that's a strategy by them, but they need to do something about Townsend. They gotta do something to accommodate Townsend and the 3 North Carolina schools, because right now they're kind of like sitting on an island by themselves, where the rest of the schools are in like Jersey and up. So like they got to figure that out. Oh, and Hampton too. I can't forget about Hampton. Hampton's on the Virginia school left too. My bad, guys. I'm not didn't do that purposely. So like Hampton, Townsend, and then the 3 North Carolina schools. Us, Campbell, and who's the other one? I guess it was us and and Elon. Us, Campbell, and Elon. They got to do something about those schools.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, I know exactly because there was a concern about there was concern about the northern schools trying to keep their teams geographically close, like Rhode Island, Albany, um, Maine, all the schools that's like north. They don't want to
Hmm.
have to go all the way to North Carolina all the time, all the way down to Virginia all the time. Like the way that it was constructed right now, and it's still going to be the case for a little while. You had it so they had to go all the way down there, and it was like pretty much a done deal. They had to take a trip down there. So they would rather. That's why they added a school like Bryant to try to reduce that churn within that area for them. Um, but I think North Carolina. So like when A&T initially got to the CAA, they said that they were looking into doing divisions, and right now that division isn't going to work. It's not working too tight right now. So it's not. They did pods, but it's not. It's not enough right now because right now a pod would be what? Us, Campbell, Elon, and Townsend. Like that's not enough. It's just not enough. And Hampton.
No.
I keep forgetting about Hampton. I keep leaving Hampton out of here. And I'm not purposely doing it Hampton. But like my point is you got 6, and then you got another 7 or 8 that are upstate. Stony Brook and all those other guys. You're talking New Jersey, Stony Brook, Monmouth, all those guys in New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then all the New England schools, because New Hampshire, Maine, like all those guys don't want to keep flying down there. But I mean, New Hampshire's got an out of conference game against the school down the road this year. They're coming down to Durham, North Carolina, so that'll be interesting to watch. But this is a
Huh.
return because they had a home and home,
Ah.
so this is their fly down. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. WSU Ram Nation is diabolical. Nah, keep recruiting those out of state students so we can grab them. Yeah, y'all definitely need them. Y'all definitely need them.
That's not my fight. I'm gonna stay out of that one.
Hey Jeff, man, to have fun with you about talking about recruiting students in New England. My daughter applied to A&T. She didn't get in either, so don't worry. They utilize that out of state tap very, very, very strongly. But when you have 60,000 people applying, everybody ain't gonna be able to get in, guys. That's just what it is.
That's true.
I mean, that's just what it is. That's what I told my daughter. It's a numbers game. I was like, we have an out of state cap. You didn't pick engineering. You in trouble. It's gonna be hard. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this top 21 that Dr. Cavil did. And then next week we'll next week we're gonna get to talk about some games, and I can't wait for that. But when we come back, we're
Yes,
gonna talk about the top 21. I got some things. I got some thoughts on it, and I'm pretty sure
yes, sir. Of
Mr. King got some thoughts as well. So we'll be right back after the break.
course.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in fall.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern, Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the fun-filled Coca-Cola fan experience, including band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to episode 690 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is the Indy Report. Okay. I have a list, and I think some of you guys, you've seen previous episode of Dr. Cavil, he gone over the whole top 21. He revealed his top 7 recently, and I want to go over the top 21. So here are 21 through 15. Got Delaware State at number 21, Mississippi Valley State at number 20, my beloved North Carolina A&T Aggies at 19, the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats at 18, UAPB at 17, Grambling at 16, and the Beholders at 15. All right. What do you think about this bottom 7, man?
So 4 of these, 4 of them have new coaches, and so that's the hopeful portion of the bottom 7, because you don't know, there's that unknown. So I get that. And then the other one, you look at the Bethune and PB. They've been the kind of punching bags of the SWAC the past couple years, and but with Bethune, I don't see that changing. I think
Yeah.
PB is going to take a step back. Grambling, I to me, there's a lot of unknowns because you don't know. I'm not even sure about them. I mean, yeah, they were 5-7 last year, but I mean, did they really have a signature win
Mm-mm.
last year?
Mm-mm.
So I mean, you got this is Mickey Joseph's what, his second year? It'll be his second year.
Mm-hmm.
So the seat ain't warming up yet, but you put up another 5 and 7. The
There's a
side eye
lot of
will start.
there's some seats that are on this list that are rough right now. I'm looking at
Yeah, I was.
UAPB and
Yep,
I'm looking at Bethune.
yep. Those are two I was looking at.
Them seats is warm. Like Valley's got a new coach. Dell State, they got Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah,
And Valley has Terrell Buckley, and you got Norfolk with Michael Vick. Delaware State recently just got a wide receiver, and I think they out here recruiting well on the skill position, but I'm worried about the trenches over in Delaware State, ladies and gentlemen. So they're probably right where they should be with regards to that. Head of Valley is interesting, but I mean behind Valley is interesting because I hope that Terrell Buckley can do something and turn around, but Valley is a tough place to turn around, man. There's a
it
lot of
is.
different. I'm just
It,
happy A&T's not 21. Okay, I mean because they could, you could have an argument for it. I mean, yeah, they have a tougher schedule than everybody else on this list, or from a conference standpoint. When you talk about how many ranked teams that are within the conference and things of that sort, how many ranked teams they had to play this
yeah,
year, how many they got to play this upcoming season. But they weren't good. Like they just were not good. Sean Gibbs, I'm hoping he can turn it around. I just know it's not going to be an overnight type of thing in regards to that. Grambling, man, man, I don't know what to say about Grambling right now. I know they're going to be. Some people are trying to hype him up a bit, but I just don't see it. I
I
just
don't
don't see it.
even.
I don't see it. And
And
Norfolk State, they pretty much took a portion of Hampton's team, so I'm kind of fascinated to see how that's going to look. 15 is probably about where they should be, though.
yeah, I,
You
I
know,
don't. I don't have too much exception with the list. I might have. I might have at least swapped Dell State and Valley out for all the reasons. That is just such a tough place, man. I mean, man,
we'll
Terrell
see.
Buckley's got his
But
coach.
the thing is, like, I saw a billboard at Delaware State talking about their opener against Delaware. Remember, I want to remind you guys, this is Delaware's first year in FBS. They're in Conference USA now, and that is their opening game. And there are billboards out because of who their coach is. So I expect it to be packed. And I can't say, out of respect to Dr. Cavill's show, I will not say what Delaware is called, what their nickname is. Just look it up. All right, next slide. So now we got number 14, Texas Southern. Number 13, the Howard Bison. Number 12, the Hampton Pirates. Number 11, Alcorn State Braves. Number 10, Alabama A&M Bulldogs. Number 9, Alabama State. And number 8, your beloved Tennessee State Tigers. I'm going to be honest with you. I think y'all are too high. I think the Tigers are a little bit too high. With all the turnover y'all have had, I think that's a little too high.
So I could see that though. Um, my bias will not allow me to admit anything
I
further
know
than
you're
that.
not. I know you're not. I know you're not. So since we know that you will not admit that they're too high, let's go with a team that I think that's too low, like Hampton. I think Hampton should be higher on this list.
I could see that because, and we talked about it during the season last year. They were really um, a handful of plays from being an 8-9 win team
Mm-hmm.
because they let several slip through their fingers last year.
Top 25 teams, including a top
Yeah,
10 team. They almost beat Rhode Island and Villanova at home.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's a deceptive 5 and 7. That's not like
Mm-mm.
they're 5 and 7 and Grambling 5 and 7 are not the same.
No, they're not. But I know, like Dr. Cavil, his focal point is always about wins and losses.
Yeah,
Like if you go back to Grambling's 5-7, like if you look at it, right, they're 3-1 they're 3-1 out of conference. Well, now technically one of those wins was against Jackson, but that didn't count as a conference game, right?
nah.
So, but they're 3-1 out of conference. They were 2-6 in conference. So
Something to be said for that.
sure,
Uh,
but if I go and check and see who they played last year,
that's why I said what I said about them earlier.
All right, I'm just saying. But to be fair to Hampton, Hampton played a Division two opponent last year too. They played one, but they got some pretty good wins. They got some pretty
Uh-uh.
good wins. I would probably put them. I probably would put them ahead of Bama State. I'll probably put them ahead of you guys right now. To be honest with you, I'll probably
I
jump them all the way up to 8.
Yeah, I think with us, just like I said, the roster turnover has been so high. You don't know what you've got, so I mean, it is what it is. We'll find out with them soon. I mean, it's weird. Alabama State's funny to me. You know, they put that 7-5 together using sticks and glue at the quarterback position. I mean, they had the hot dog man out there at the end of the season calling plays. So, and yet they still managed to go 7-5. They're all, you know what? They're like and I said they're like the Pittsburgh Steelers of the SWAC. You don't know how they do it, but it's they managed to put together a decent record at the end of the year. And you're like, how?
Well, the thing is that but from a championship standpoint, they're not really the Pittsburgh Steelers of swag. But I got to take
Well,
for
that's
you.
true.
I got to take for you, and I said this on HBCU Nightly on Sunday. I got Alabama A&M placing second in the East. I got them placing second in the East, guys. And I'm going to go ahead and put that out there right now here on
Really?
this platform. I got them placing second in the East. I think their schedule is very favorable. By the time they get into the heart of their swag schedule, I think Sam Shade is going to have them boys ready, like ready. I really like they face Alcorn in September, but it doesn't count as a conference game. So they'll get their medal, then they get in the conference play, and their first conference game that counts is against Bethune. Like, I think the schedule benefits them compared to Alabama State, who's got a gauntlet of a schedule.
Yeah, they do.
A gauntlet of a schedule. Like, I think that matters too when you take into account about who's going to place in the East and the West. So, that's why I got A&M. I got A&M second in the East, ahead of FAMU, ahead of Alabama State. Howard, Erica's trying to convince me that Howard's going to surprise folks, but I ain't there yet. I'm not there yet.
I'm not. Look, I'm right there with you. I'm not on that bandwagon either.
Yeah. And Texas Southern, I gotta remember that they went 4-4 in SWAC. I gotta remember that they're 4-4 because I forget that they actually did go 500 in the conference last year.
I mean, I like some of the things that Coach Dishman has done, but I don't know if I see them getting over that hump this year.
I think they're taking a step back this year.
I'm not sold on them yet.
Yeah, I think they're gonna take a step back. Now I'm not trying to say that Dishman's in trouble. He's not.
No,
But I think he's taking a step back this year. We'll be having those trouble discussions after that this year, but not right now. All right, final slide. Top 7. Here's the top 7. We got Prairie View at number 7, Morgan State at number 6, South Carolina State Bulldogs at 5, Southern Jaguars at 4, the school down the road at 3, FAMU at 2, Jackson State at 1. I'm not mad at 1
at all.
As much as I hate them, I probably would move the school down the road up. I would probably lower FAMU a little bit.
Yeah,
I would flip. I would probably put Morgan ahead of Southern and South Carolina State.
I could see that because
I have Prairie View winning the West, so I got to put Prairie View ahead of Southern. So that means I have to swap them again too.
You think Coach Jackson gonna get them right year 1?
Yeah, I do. I know a lot of folks don't like how much he's been talking, but I do. I think the West is so much of a toss-up. I don't think the West is that strong that I'm going with the team that I think has the best coach, and I think that's Prairie View. So that's what I'm going with. AT Roy. I got Morgan ahead of South Carolina State. I think South Carolina State takes a step back this year.
I agree. I think FAM is too high. I
Then
definitely
and
wouldn't.
I'm gonna put a comment of why I think Fam is too high. Who's the quarterback?
That's you took the words right out of my mouth.
Should not be number 2. I know the snakes are gonna come after me, but they should not be number 2. Should not be number 2. Should not. And this here is an argument of why Pre-V should be higher. Scheduling matters, man.
Yeah.
That matters a lot. That matters a lot. So I'm fascinated to see what how that goes.
Yeah. And like I said,
Adrian, man, I understand the criticism of Coach Jack building the program, but you know what's harder to do as somebody who has seen it full in color, being an Aggie, maintaining a program. That's hard too. And he kept that
yeah.
ball. Yes, and he kept that ball rolling when he took over Valdosta State.
You know how folks how quickly them folks at Valdosta State would have got rid of him.
Oh
If he,
yeah, if he wasn't winning, oh my God. Oh
oh man.
yeah. You
It would without hesitation.
so we'll see. But
Yeah,
we should
I'd look at this list. I agree. I would definitely move Southern down. I don't want to say that 8-5 was fluky. I don't want to say that. But everything almost that had to happen for them to win happened for them to win. And I don't know if you can count on situations like they were in last year to happen and play out like that year in and year out. So to me, for Southern, it's a show it and prove it. Show it you
well
can run it back and
it,
do it again.
it's the West, man. And that's my dilemma, right? Like I think picking Southern is the easy answer to who's gonna win the West this year. But I think the West is not that strong. And maybe things will change this season. Maybe I'll be eating my words later this year when we look at it. And that's fine. But as of right now, the West isn't that strong. If you take the 3, like if you say the SWAC East, SWAC West, and the MEAC, I probably would put the SWAC West last and put the MEAC second and the SWAC East first. That would probably be my order of operations from a conference standpoint. That's just my thoughts on the matter. But I'm not mad at Jackson State being number 1.
No.
I would be. They do. I know they play the East teams, but which ones? Like that's the thing. They do play the East teams, but which ones? They don't play all the East teams. They only play a couple of them. Some get to play Valley, and some get to play Jackson State. I mean, like y'all don't play them all. Like let's not do this. I think y'all should consider doing a 9. Since we're doing 12 games, I think the SWAC should strongly consider doing a 9-game conference schedule. But we'll see if that actually occurs.
That's why we say scheduling matters.
Scheduling matters, man. That's part of the reason why I got Prairie View winning the West, and that's part of the reason why I got Alabama A&M being second in the East. All right, let's shut this thing down. This was a really good conversation. Shout out to Dr. Cavil for coming up with this list, though. That with the poll rankings. So it'll be fascinating to say the least.
Yes, it will be.
It will be fascinating to say the least. But I will reiterate again. I think the SWAC should really strongly consider doing a 9-game conference schedule at this point, because a lot of them already do a non-conference game anyway. So you might as well just go ahead, make everybody play 9 and call it a day. But all right. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. Make sure you follow Dr. Kenyatta Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. Make sure you follow the Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 Facebook page, and make sure you follow Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Shout out to Mr. Brandon King. Make sure you go check out sneakershoptalk.com. He showed some Air Jordan 11s that I might have to come out of retirement and try to buy.
You and me both.
I've been slowing down on buying these shoes, but I might have to go ahead and see if my sneakers app works or not. We're gonna see. You guys can follow me at ChampD1012. Check me out. I'm on the HBCU Nightly Network as well. And I also cover the NFL on with the Panther Nation podcast. And I go live every Tuesday night for that as well. Dream big and continue to move forward. We'll talk to you soon. Brandon.
Of course.
Lecture.
Dismissed.